Today is July 25th and we've arrived in Prague for our visit with Benjamino and our tour of Prague, Vienna and Budapest, and this is the astronomical clock. So there's a crowd here because at the top of the hour it's going to start chiming and dancing, doing all sorts of things. And we're close to the old town square. And lots of really interesting architecture right there. The clock is about to chime at the top of the hour.
It is pretty fun.
Oh, I see there's people up there.
Yeah, it's like a medieval Disney animatronic.
Yes.
I think I missed it.
That's the word I was looking for, animatronic.
That's it? Does it do more stuff?
Imagine that's it.
So we just finished watching the clock, and we're now outside, back in the old town square. And that's Santa Maria Church.
I believe that one's St. Nicholas.
St. Nicholas,
and the one to your right is
The tin one.
Santa Maria di Tin.
Okay. So this is the heart of Prague, Old City Prague. And there's a big statue, sculpture to a martyr, 14th century martyr. And there's quite a crowd to watch the clock go. And pretty well every building in this part of the city has some sort of story or some sort of symbol at the top of the building that you can research. And this is St. Nicholas Church. We're just going to go inside it, take a look around. I believe we can climb up the tower there too. And you can see they've got the wood fires starting to go. And here we are inside the cathedral. And you can pause the video here so you can read the history of St. Nicholas Church. And this is a close-up of the big, massive sculpture. There's a particularly attractive building there. And right off the main Old Town Square is this little park. And you've got all these wood-fired food kiosks.
Pomůžete kouzlit, zavřete si oči, představte si mlíka mařenci, a kdo se nebojí,
and of course you have the horse and buggy ride.
tak zavři očička. Abracadabra, kloboučku, dej mi tady děti.
There's the old Prague ham kiosk.
Jednou děti maminka vařila oběd, koukala do okna a strašně smutně
I'm relying on Benjamin to translate this for us later.
A přišel táta, řekl se.
And then we're just off the main square, the Old Town Square. There's a large church here. Thank you. And now we've come into another church just off the Old Town Square. St. Mary of Tin, T-Y-N. This one too is very ornate. Not as many frescoes, but lots of gilded pillars. We're in the Spanish Jewish synagogue in the Jewish section of town. It's very ornate. And this is a museum. And we're in the Jewish section of Prague in the Terezin ghetto, and this is one of the oldest cemeteries around. I heard some of them date to the 14th century, these stones. And it's one of the top 10 cemeteries to visit in the world, according to Janet, the research she did. It's roped off, so you can't really go in and into the cemetery itself. And we've gone through 2 temples so far. And in the last synagogue, they had names of all the people that were deported to the Nazi death camps, which was very surreal and sad. And here are some fragments of tombstones from the mid-14th century with Hebrew letters on them. And this is just on the exit of the, sort of the end of the cemetery. Now we're just outside the Jewish cemetery. We're heading for lunch. Today is Friday, July 26th, and we're headed towards the Prague Castle, and we're going over a neat bridge, and this is the bridge, entrance to the bridge now. It's the cathedral. That looks like the Prague Cathedral over there on the hill. And there's lots of action on the little side street that we just came down. And this is the Charles Bridge, and that's a statue over here of
Charles IV.
Charles IV. And there's some enchanting little restaurants along the river. Oh, paddle boats.
Apparently, if you have a canoe or a kayak, you're allowed to. I think it was one of those.
Here's the ceiling. It's painted of the archway. And that is Prague Castle up on the hill. Yeah, it's a nice view of the river. Tour boats. And there's a tower up there on the hill that you can climb. And there's lots of statues all the way along the King Charles Bridge. And people seem to all be touching this statue here. And there's a beautiful archway that comes off when you come off the bridge. And it certainly reminds us of Lincoln or even York, England. And here's a super neat statue. They've got a deer and all sorts of stuff. And it's quite hot out today. It's supposed to be a high of 28. We try to keep to the shade normally, but coming across that bridge was difficult. And this is a close-up of the archway. And here we are just coming off this Charles Bridge, King Charles Bridge. And Prague certainly has a lot of spires to photograph. And I'm sure all these statues have particularly good meaning. The last statue that people were touching was a good luck charm. Well, we're making our way towards Prague Castle, but it's up on a giant hill. And Benjamin stopped to buy an umbrella. But this is a street that we just came up here. And we're getting close to the top. This is a really good view of Prague. And there's the Eiffel Tower. Oops. There's some fancy gates here in front of this building. There's the Czechia flag flying at half mast, maybe.
It's weird. Usually.
I'll just do a panoramic view. Yep, go ahead. We won't stop till we get to the top. And we're now inside Prague Castle, or approaching it. It's impressive. Lots of people. Beautiful. Alright, so we're inside Prague Castle. Lineup moves pretty quickly, really. There's some beautiful stained glass there. It's like a large cathedral inside the castle. So this is a cathedral inside Prague Castle. And the stained glass is amazing. Beautiful paintings, frescoes on the wall. That's that same room, just looking in from the side. This is super cool sculptures, yeah, and crests over here. And beautiful frescoes in here. And this guy is neat. And we're right at sort of the intersection. I guess this would be the transept of the cathedral. And the organ is up there. All right, so we've come out of the St. Vitus Cathedral, and we're into the courtyard, I guess. And there's lots of gilding on the outside of the cathedral, and beautiful Gothic spires. I think they're Gothic. And now we're heading to the palace, and we'll just do a panoramic view here. And there's a giant obelisk over here. I don't think this was stolen from Egypt though, unlike the ones in Rome. It's nice and warm today, so I feel like jumping in the shower here. Thankfully we have a bit of cloud cover now. And now we're in the old palace. And I assume this is like the ballroom or something. It's a big, vast room with nice vaulted ceilings and chandeliers. Pravda. It means truth, I think, in Russian. This looks like it at one point was a chimney and a fireplace. Would have been a heck of a nice fireplace. Looks like some sort of a dining room or a kitchen here. Nice door. Could be old stoves or something. We're just wondering what these green things are in each of the rooms. View out the window. Pause the video here if you'd like to read this. So this is the window of defenestration, and that's where people who were part of the uprising were thrown out of as a punishment. So it turns out this is a Bohemian stove. Pause the video here to read about Vladislav Hall. So this is Vladislav Hall, and it was the places where they held official state functions such as coronations. And now we're in a couple of rooms just off the Diet Hall, which I believe was used for court sessions. And there's all sorts of really ornate woodwork that's dating from the period of the early Renaissance. It's another example of carved furniture. So these two rooms are the session rooms of the Court of Justice. And so the Diet Hall, they had some courts going, and then they could go back and forth and get scrolls and quote the law, etc. I'm not sure what all of these paintings are all over the ceiling and walls. And there's some rough wood tables in here. And there you have it. These are coats of arms of all the important people who held the land. And the lion is the emblem of the Austrian of Austria. And these are the crown jewels. Yeah. And we're just in a chapel off of the main hall, Vladislav Hall. So this is the crown of St. Wenceslas. Some of the oil paintings on the wall. That's probably one of the kings, maybe the Habsburgs. All right, so we've done the session room and the palace, so now we're going into St. George's Basilica. And here we are inside the basilica. It's got a wooden roof. And some really old paintings on the wall. And it looks like there must be a shrine or something. Somebody must be buried down in there. There's a better shot of the fresco on the wall. Now we just climbed up the stairs and we're sort of at the front of the church. pause here if you'd like to read about the Basilica of St. George. Yeah, now we're in the Golden Lane. And I think we're starting to get some rain. We've climbed up some stairs. We're in this long hallway. There's all these shields all the way along. And the stairs were very steep to get up here. And this amazing armor here. Chain link. It looks like those windows rotate, Janet. So you can shoot out and then you can close it. More armor. And along here there's all sorts of weapons and medieval helmets, armor helmets. Very scary looking. Quite a selection. And there's some interesting things that are aimed to crush your skull in. And now we've come down from that little street and we're now in a medieval prison. This is all part of the castle. This looks like a rack right here where you stretch people.
Got an Iron
They're always
Maiden there.
an Iron Maiden, yeah. Oof. They sure knew how to torture people. Oh. This is called a Spanish boot. Self-explanatory. Hey, bench. There's some sort of...
buildings all fit me perfectly. I don't have to stoop or anything,
too.
but I almost feel the...
There's a skeleton hanging there. We're going down into a lower chamber of the prison. Some nasty looking stuff here. This is a headsman's axe. We think maybe they put a fire there and then you're sort of latched up. Just sort of get a confession out of you. Not sure what these things are, but they look like they'll do the job to get you to confess. And this is a torture chamber at the end of the hallway here. Got the guy with the spikes on his head. Big swords. Nasty. And we're just on the street outside the absinthery we are at. Beautiful little alleyway. Lots of people and interesting shops. It's pretty hot out today, about plus 32, but we've been pretty much staying in the shade. And it's a bustling place now as we come up to the old town square. Lots of people.
Just very far away.
Wow.
Huh. The emperor was living at the castle, so that's why they were going there. The main alchemist here, the Dash Hayek, they actually were making here was more like...
We're at the alchemist shop.
Okay.
This is an underground cavern that was discovered 22 years ago.
Just basically for the emperor, he was saying that we could just run to the castle, like we could bring metallic suit to make him feel better. So, amazing in the room here is
this is we're down below the thing, and this is a door to a secret passageway to the town square, which is about a 5-minute walk.
Here, this was another laboratory, another room for working. Second one was for doing experiments. At the time, not all of the experiments were that well thought out. Some strong reactions, explosions, so that's why we gave them a separate room away from the elixirs. Let's take a look back.
It's where they mix the elixirs.
It's really expensive. And also coal, they can make fire in all of their fireplaces.
There's a skull. Storage rooms.
Nowadays we dry them upstairs first, and then we bring them here for display. But back then they could actually dry them in a bit. Another.
And this is the room where they had a glass blowing furnace so they can make all their flasks. And there's another secret tunnel that went all the way outside of the town, so people could come in and out secretly into the lab. You get down to the underground cavern, which was discovered in 2002 through an entrance in a bookcase. There was a secret entrance, and it opened the wall, and then you come down to these steps here. It was discovered in 2022, and so then the archaeologists came in and they discovered all sorts of stuff, like hidden recipes behind a wall and everything.
Coins on the foot.
So there was a flood in 2002, and this tunnel, which goes to the town square, collapsed, and so they realized there was something underneath, and so then they excavated and found all of this stuff. That was basically a time capsule. And this was the main office, which is upstairs, and this is how the bookcase opened to get down to the basement. Secret entrance. And they got the elements: earth, air, fire, and earth.
And that's was it the original or reproduction?
And they all have metal stars in the middle, which channel the energy over to this chandelier, which also has a star in the middle. And it's centered over the workshop below, so all the energy goes down into the basement, into the workshop.
Because we wouldn't be able, or I guess we wouldn't be allowed to open this all the time. But the shoes were the same, and they were the same, like guarding like this.
That's very fun.
Of course, they added the rails here, so it's easier to move around.
Yeah.
To show you what's here. Here you can see how the old bottles for the elixirs look like.
Zodiac.
And that's the latch to the door to the secret tunnel to the basement.
Beautiful.
And some of these vials still contain elixirs that were made back in the 16th century.
We're just always at least try learning new things.
Our gold, our name is something about a name and gold, and aurum nostrum non est aurum murgi.
It used to be our gold is not common gold.
So this is the emperor that invited the alchemists to Prague when he moved the capital here. And this is his mistress. They had 8 children together. And that was a great tour, and this is just the entrance to the shop. Great tour.
Thank you for visiting, my friend. Enjoy your practice.
We had an absinthe there. We had some really nice cocktails. It's beautiful in here. Got nice Tiffany lamps.